I ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody else. That's why I don't never get too hyped about the win after I win, because it's like you always gotta do something over and over again till you done. And there's always gonna be somebody next. So after this, I don't have to prove myself to these people.
Let's go! Lift it up! Come on! Come on, man! Let's go!
You're here. You know what I'm saying? So we are striving to be the best that we can be to be on that level again. You know? So, you know, you saying you want to do what you want to do, that's good, because that's what you want to do.
That's the God in you that's trying to,
that's good.
seek it,
and,
you know?
And you giving back and giving thanks.
Gervonta Tank Davis is fine-tuning every weapon in his arsenal ahead of his showdown with Jake Paul, proving once again that his knockout power is built through relentless discipline, not just natural talent. His camp is centered on sharpening his strength, timing, and endurance, ensuring he remains a threat at every second of the fight. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is approaching this as the biggest test of his career. He's assembled an elite group of sparring partners, including Shakur Stevenson, Raymond Ford, and Montana Love, all brought in to push his limits, refine his speed, and boost his confidence before stepping into the ring with Tank.
So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bet. Everything on the line. You know, that's old school right there.
Gervonta Tank Davis is putting major focus on conditioning, building a rock-solid core and preparing his body to absorb and deliver fight-changing power. Having experienced the sting of heavy shots throughout his career, Tank understands firsthand how vital toughness and stability are once the punches start flying. His training camp is packed with brutal strength drills designed to test balance, posture, and resilience, all while amplifying the explosiveness behind his punches. Every session runs at full intensity as he continues to develop not just his physical power, but the mental edge he'll need when he steps in against Jake Paul.
Inhale, box, exhale.
Ain't nobody breaking.
Box. Man, boom on that last break. Box. I got him.
We can't shit.
Box.
I don't want that hip drop. Yeah, I felt that too.
Good, perfect. That was your best rep. Come on.
Jake Paul is currently immersed in one of the most intense training camps of his career, approaching his upcoming bout with Gervonta Tank Davis as his toughest challenge yet. Determined to rise to the occasion, Paul has surrounded himself with top-tier talent designed to push him past his limits. Among those helping him prepare is Shakur Stevenson, whose technical precision and ring IQ offer Paul invaluable sparring experience. He's also training alongside Raymond Ford and Montana Love to fine-tune his speed, timing, and defensive awareness. Paul fully understands that Davis brings a level of speed, intelligence, and power unlike anyone he has faced before. Every session in camp is built around sharpening his fundamentals, refining his reactions, and building the confidence he'll need when the lights come on fight night. Gervonta Tank Davis has earned his reputation in boxing through relentless effort and unwavering commitment. His story is one of steady growth and perseverance. Trainer Calvin Ford, who has guided him since his early days, has witnessed firsthand how Davis transformed from a hungry young prospect into a world champion who thrives under pressure. According to Ford, what fans see on fight night is only the result of countless unseen hours, the grueling training sessions, the strict discipline, and the personal sacrifices made along the way. Every bit of success Davis enjoys has been earned through hard work and focus. From his debut to the present, his evolution has never stopped. Now, as Davis gears up for his showdown with Jake Paul, the boxing world is buzzing with opinions, debates, and predictions about what could be one of the sport's most talked about events.
Hey man, this is so much stuff. And man, Kenny was sitting up there talking about it, and the majority of it is when he was little. We talk about all the stuff when he was little, and he started laughing like, dang.
When I get by myself, I always try to like think about like back in the day stuff.
Yeah. But we can tell.
I just noticed that just now, me talking about it. But when I get by myself, I be trying.
No, we can tell. When I listen to your interview, I like listening to your interviews that you do, and I can tell when you reflect back on certain things. You can see it. You can see it. That's when I think you at your peace, and you start reflecting back and you talking
when
about
he say something that we told him a long time ago.
And I said, damn, we like, damn, he did remember that.
Yeah, he remember that shit.
Yeah. I see Brody been calling you a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as far as on the what you call it, trying to fight.
Veteran coach Abel Sanchez views the upcoming fight as a major opportunity for Gervonta Davis, both personally and professionally. He explains that many fighters dedicate their entire lives to boxing, sacrificing their youth, their health, and countless hours in the gym, yet often struggle to achieve lasting financial stability. In Sanchez's eyes, this matchup is different. It offers Davis a well-deserved chance to be properly rewarded for everything he has poured into the sport. The potential earnings from a bout of this magnitude are life-changing, and few fighters ever get such an opportunity while still in their prime. While the fight with Jake Paul may not come with championship belts or ranking implications, Sanchez believes it carries a different kind of value, one that can secure Davis's long-term future. For him, this is boxing's way of finally giving something back to a fighter who has already given so much.
I don't like the fight. But as a coach, I think it's a good move for Tank Davis. I mean, I think I've seen too many kids go out of this sport with not a cent in their pocket. And I think that if Tank Davis takes advantage of a big payday like that, I think it's a ridiculous fight as far as a fight fan. But as a coach, I understand it. You have to take care of your own.
Yeah, you know, well, actually, now that we're talking about it, you're not the biggest fan of it. Fight fans are bringing up like, hey, you know, why did he go this way when there's Lamont Roach? Like, look how close that fight was. There was a draw. We were expecting a rematch in that fight.
Yeah, well,
what's happening here?
As much as we hate it, it hasn't become really a sport. It's become a financial sport. So he took it because it's 5-6 times more than he's going to make with Lamont Roach. That makes sense. I mean, anybody, ask anybody if they have a choice, they're going to take the money. Of course. He's got to take care of his people. He's got to take care of himself. He's got to take care of his future. That's the smartest thing to do. As a fight fan, I don't like it. But as a coach, I understand it.
Yeah, no, and I think anybody in that position, like, we got to, like, put ourselves maybe sometimes in that same situation. And I think
Absolutely.
Anybody with, like, any, like, sense of, like, common sense would look at that and be like, wait, I'm making this much to fight against this guy that's only been fighting for 5 years compared to what could be maybe a really hard fight, and I'm going to make double, triple. Yeah, I'm going to go, let me do this little side quest real quick, and let me get this money real fast. And then,
of course, you have to take care of your future, man. If it's offered to you, you'd be foolish not to take it, especially against a guy that is no threat to him.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's 50 pounds, Abel.
Yeah, but he's no threat to him. Tank Davis fights the way he fights. Understand that Tank Davis fights. He's probably one of my favorite fighters. I think I've said that many a times. Mm-hmm. He fights in a manner where he's fought all those big guys. Look at the way he throws his punches. Look at how he ducks down like if he's fighting a real big guy. Look at the way he fought when he knocked out Garcia. Look at where he puts his head and how he throws his punches. In the street, that's who he was fighting. He was fighting bigger guys than him. He was always a smaller guy. So he knows how to fight those big guys. He knows how to duck up underneath and throw those looping shots because that's who he fought in the street. At least that's my opinion anyway. He's always been the little guy, and I'm sure that in the streets he wasn't acquired.
Chris Algieri has also spoken highly of what Gervonta Tank Davis brings to modern boxing. He notes that the sport today isn't just about technical skill, it's also about presence, charisma, and the ability to capture attention. In Algieri's view, Davis embodies that balance perfectly. Every time he steps into the ring, the atmosphere changes. The crowds grow louder, the anticipation builds, and fans tune in because with Tank, there's always the possibility of something spectacular. Algieri highlights that Davis is one of the most dangerous finishers in the game. His knockout power alone keeps audiences on edge, waiting for the moment the tide turns. Beyond his athleticism, Algieri sees Davis as a defining figure of boxing's new era, a fighter who blends entertainment value with elite-level performance. He believes Davis fully understands the modern landscape, where staying relevant and commanding attention are just as vital as winning rounds.
The face of boxing is basically... Yeah, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
Again,
Hey,
these are
truly
these are
the
created
after this
products.
fight.
These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and making funny faces. You know what I mean? And it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate.
Okay,
It's
so-
not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, a great fighter and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set, and all over your phone, and all over you know what, bro?
Growing discussion has emerged around Jake Paul and whether the conditions of his fights are always fair. Former champions Carl Froch and Pauli Malignaggi have both addressed the issue, making it clear that while they don't believe Paul's bouts are staged, they do think the setups often lean in his favor. According to them, Jake tends to enter the ring with certain advantages, whether it's size, weight, or specific fight terms that work to his benefit. They anticipate a similar scenario against Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Paul is naturally the bigger and heavier man, and the rules could be designed in ways that limit Davis' usual strengths. Froch and Malignaggi also acknowledge the business reality behind these high-profile matchups. Boxing, they explain, thrives on spectacle and storytelling. Promoters want big moments that sell. That said, both agree that Davis' raw talent and ring IQ give him the power to flip any script. If the fight comes down purely to skill, they believe.
Realized, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing, Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. That's a lot of weight, Carl. You've been in a boxing ring, that still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, if the gloves are small, Jake could also hurt Gervonta, because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him. So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got an advantage? I don't know. Technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
That's fair enough. That's a fair point, that is. And actually,
people aren't talking about that enough. I feel like people aren't talking about that enough.
Well, he's threatening to sue everybody who talks about it and anyone who talks about it.
Well, that's because his fights have been sanctioned, and I personally don't think he has set up the other fights. I personally think, like Mike Tyson, he had no legs left. You know what I mean? I to tell you the truth, I thought that was an easy one to bet and call. It was that Jake would beat Mike Tyson, and even some of these other fights, they're smaller. Jake doesn't set up his fights. I think what he does is he stacks the deck against his opponents in those fights. So I wouldn't call them staged, but they're deck stackers. So he has an advantage. In this situation, though,
Shakur Stevenson approaches the matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis from a purely technical angle. He acknowledges that Jake holds a genuine size advantage. He's naturally the bigger and stronger man. But Stevenson is quick to point out that size alone doesn't win fights, and in his view, Davis' experience against elite-level opposition will be the key factor. Tank has faced and beaten world champions, fighters who've spent their entire lives perfecting their craft. Stevenson predicts that Davis won't rush in looking for a knockout. Instead, he'll stay patient, use his speed and timing, and control the distance with precision. According to Stevenson, the smarter fighter will win, and that's where Tank separates himself. He expects Davis to put on a composed, tactical performance and collect rounds steadily. Jake may be durable and hard to stop.
You guys.
Size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just gonna go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and said he's got good power. Not even, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is he's been boxing his whole life. He's been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just gonna knock that guy out. So I see him like outboxing him.
Could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out? Although more likely that it is, like you just said, a decision.
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out, no.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
no.
Obviously, no?
Hell no, nah. That ain't really like... I mean, like I said, here's the thing. Like, I got two sides of me when it comes down to I got a business side, then I got a competitor side. And from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me for me to...
Weight has become one of the biggest talking points surrounding this matchup. Many fans and analysts question whether it's fair to place a naturally smaller fighter like Gervonta "Tank" Davis against a much larger opponent such as Jake Paul. They argue that the size and weight gap could create an uneven playing field, and even raise safety concerns. However, others see it differently. They believe that elite skill can overcome size, and Davis's speed, precision, and ring IQ could be enough to neutralize the physical difference. Boxing history, after all, is filled with moments where the smaller
happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight. And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves. And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their...
Trainer and former world champion Robert Garcia has shared his thoughts on the matchup, emphasizing that there's nothing wrong with Gervonta "Tank" Davis choosing to take this fight. In his view, it's Davis's career, and he has every right to make decisions that serve his interests. Garcia's only concern lies in the timing. He believes Tank is still building his legacy, with major fights and championship opportunities ahead that could further define his place in boxing history. Many in the sport view the potential bout as more than just another fight, it's a global spectacle. Jake Paul's rise through social media and entertainment has given him a massive following that reaches far beyond traditional boxing audiences. For some experts, that crossover appeal is a good thing. It brings new eyes to the sport and expands its reach. Others, however, argue that it blurs the line between true competition and entertainment, shifting the focus away from pure boxing. There are also concerns about the conditions under which the fight might take place. Analysts suggest Jake could push for heavier gloves and a higher weight limit, adjustments that would reduce the impact of Davis's power. Those changes, they say, might be the only way Jake can survive several rounds. If that's the case, Garcia believes Davis will need to stay patient and strategic to break him down.
Something like that, but I don't know. What's your just take on the whole thing?
I'm not very interested in it. That doesn't excite me. I know it's going to do really good numbers. I know they're making a lot of money, which is good for them, good for Tank, because in boxing, that's what everybody looks for. I think it's, the good thing is they announced it as an exhibition, which is, I'm okay with it. Everybody does it. Mayweather has done it. Ali did it. The only thing, my personal opinion is Tank, they all did it when they had already accomplished so much. They already did so much. Mayweather did everything in boxing and accomplished everything. Muhammad Ali did the same, and many others that have done it. I think Tank never gave us the fights that we really wanted, never really gave us those challenges. He never really challenged himself. he didn't give Rose that rematch, which he should have. You know, Mayweather did it when he had a hard time with Maidana and Castillo. Right away, he did the rematches to prove everybody wrong, and look at what he did. He beat him clearly. So Tank should have done the same. He didn't. That I could criticize, but then at the end also, if you're making 30 to 50 million, I don't even know what he's making to fight, to have an exhibition against just Jake Paul, I would have asked. I would do the same.
No one would say no to that. Right?
If I had one of my fighters get an offer to fight a big celebrity, a big YouTuber for $20-30 million, I would probably do the same. So I don't blame him. You know, it's boxing. At the end of his career, 20 years from now, nobody's gonna care how many belts he.
Boxing commentator Bernie Thor takes a more direct stance on the upcoming matchup. He often expresses frustration when people focus mainly on the money Gervonta "Tank" Davis will earn from the fight. As Bernie points out, Davis isn't struggling financially. He's already achieved significant success in his career. For him, boxing shouldn't revolve solely around paychecks. Fans, he argues, crave real competition, champions challenging champions, meaningful matchups that test skill and heart, not just financial deals. Bernie views the Davis-Paul showdown as a symbol of two different eras colliding. On one side stands Gervonta Davis, a fighter molded by the traditional boxing path, years of dedication, endless sparring sessions, and a rise built on merit and hard-earned victories. On the other side is Jake Paul, a product of the digital age, who gained fame through entertainment before stepping into the sport. To Bernie, this fight isn't just about who wins, it's about what kind of boxing future fans want to see, the purity of the old-school system or the spectacle-driven world of modern celebrity boxing.